Hello and welcome to Nick V Uncensored. Today we've got Kirt and Cristin, and today we're going to be talking about how, the controllers of the Matrix are now doing genetic experiment without your consent. And this doesn't just include humans, it includes pets as well. So guys, just before we begin, I just want to say that we're on YouTube and everything. I just want to put a disclaimer there that all our videos are for entertainment and educational purposes only. We're not making any claims, we're not even health advisors. We're just asking you to do your own research, and we're just here to have speculate our opinions and discuss different topics and speculation and exploring this space, etc. But guys, thank you so much for joining me. How are you, and what have you been up to? We'll go with Kurt's first.
Oh man, we're doing incredibly excited about the new year coming on, and just really advancing some great things with Pet Club 24/7 and helping bring some great things to the market to help extend the lives of our pets, and that's been our main focus here towards the end of the year.
That's fantastic. And you've helped a lot of pets, because we've spoken a lot about your testimonials, and it's absolutely natural. The vets have told pet owners that they've only got a few months to live, but you've managed to reverse that and extended their lives by years. And from limping to running and jumping, it's really been huge. So that's amazing. And you want to share this to the world, and that's what you're doing. You know the challenges that we have in the health sector, and you want to make a difference and create a new parallel Earth for that, which I'm grateful for to have you guys here. Cristin, why don't you tell us a little bit?
Yeah, with everything that's been going on, and we talk about this a lot, not only happening with people, but with pets, but there's just been this, it seems like orchestrated attack on the immune system. There's so many things in the environment for our pets that are just weakening and compromising their immune systems. It's the processed foods and toys and treats that they're eating and chewing on and ingesting. It's the chemicals that we're cleaning with and we're putting in our yards, the water quality, the air quality, a lot of even the shots and some of the different things that they're getting, which originally started out small and regulated, but now it's turned into like so many that they get just in their first year of life. And then they're now required to get 6 more annually. And so all of these different things, we don't really know how it's affecting their bodies long term, but we do see the immune system getting compromised and weakened. And that's why we're on a mission to go and be a part of the restoration of the first defense that God built into the body. It was so intelligently designed. And it's funny because a lot of these things that we've been doing to create immunity, right? These immunizations, a lot of them are stuff that the immune system naturally does for the body. So it's like we ask this question, why are we taking all these outside things and putting them in when we can just give our pets the proper foods to help support the immunity from the inside out and to help the immune system do what it was designed to do? So we've just been on this mission to get the word out, to just educate people that there are more effective, more affordable options that don't have the side effects, that don't interact with any medications or treatments. There's hundreds of proven studies, published studies, many of them published in the National Library of Medicine on how our natural allies like mushrooms can help support the body for our pets and give us more time with them, give them a better quality of life, help the immune system repair, rebuild, restore, rebalance everything that's happening inside of the body.
Absolutely. Cristin, can you explain, because can you explain this? The pet food that's made for obviously animals, because they're going to animals and not to humans, how the regulations are so much different, how there's no need to go through FDA's regulation and stuff like that, because it's not human consumption, it's going to animals. And even so, it's so important to know this, because just because it's going to animals, they still have a body, they still have an immune system. They're still basically like us, they still have a body. But they are being given all of the bad stuff because they're not going through these regulations. Why don't you explain that, please?
Yes, the pet food industry in particular is very, very loosely regulated. There's a great documentary that people can watch. It's only about 45 minutes long called Pet Fooled, Petfooled, Pet Fooled. And it takes a look into the pet supply industry, and it shows how so many of the manufacturers and many of the brands we're all very familiar with over several decades now have been little by little compromising and exchanging quality ingredients for fillers. And because it's so loosely regulated, there's no body really saying that they can't do these things. So we find a lot of carcinogens in the food because it's being cooked at very high temperatures, around 400 degrees, and the high heat extrusion process chars the kibble, and it's full of carcinogens, which is why so many of our pets are dealing with, a lot of the issues that they're dealing with because the food they eat is full of carcinogens. We see animal byproducts, Nick. These are unclean meat sources, right? So this could include euthanized animals, roadkill, animals that are too sick for human consumption. All of these protein sources can be sold to pet food manufacturers at a discount, and it can be present in our pet food. We see all types of synthetic cheap ingredients, fillers, dyes, sugars, chemicals, all meant to just fill our pets up, make them addicted to the food so that they'll overeat it and they'll ask us for more. It's a sales tactic that's being used. There's no reason for sugar to be in anything that we give our pets. It has no nutrient profile. It does nothing for the flavor. They don't even prefer sweet. So why are there sugars in it other than to make our pets chemically addicted to the foods that we're giving them? So I can go on and on and on about how loosely regulated it is. That's why we always encourage people, whatever food you're feeding your pet, make sure that that manufacturer is adhering to the AAFCO nutrient profiles, because that's going to be the most balanced. Even though they can't enforce it, at least they have to be able to prove that they are adhering to those standards to be able to say that they're adhering to those standards. So it's the AAFCO. So the food you're currently giving your pets, check and make sure, because if it does not, we have no idea. It's like almost like a wild, wild west. We have no idea what's in that food. We do see how it's impacting our pets because they're living half as long as they used to now and dealing with all these conditions that they weren't dealing with, 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, let's talk about also the pet toys, because they're you walk into the pet aisle in your supermarket, and you see all of these pet toys, and they're all different colors, and I think to myself, but they're blind. But it's actually for us. It's like this because we're the ones paying. We're the ones emotionally attached to our pets, that define our identity and our emotions because they're part of the family now. And when they die, we are the ones that grieve. But again, these are toys that are being marketed with different colors. And also, again, they're not FDA approved. They're not FDA approved, and they're also consumed in the pets' mouths as well. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, there's a lot of bleaches and toxins and all types of different things that they find in some of the toys that are being created. Some are small enough that depending on the size of the dog, they're swallowing them, and people don't even realize that they're stuck in their system and they can't get it out. And so they're getting, all these chemicals and things that are hitting them from the inside out and causing many problems. And so, we here at our company, we use a rope that's very, very healthy, ingestible. We use antlers, which if you look into antlers and the minerals they supply, it's just very necessary for our pets, and it's natural. Again, it's something that they've had for centuries, and they would eat. And so we make sure as a company we're putting things out that are going to extend the lives of our pets. And going back to some of the things that you were talking about, Nick, it's really just incredible, how they can't see these colors, and they put them all over the different toys. Obviously as a sales tactic, it's incredible.
Using color psychology on colorblind animals.
Of course, yeah, and it's making them ill, and then the vets, it just costs thousands and thousands to fix them. But you guys have reversed that, which we're going to go into in a minute. But before we do that, I want to just share my screen because you sent me an advert earlier of what they're doing. Can you just give us a little summary of what we're about to see, Cristin? Because this is something that you sent me earlier and you wanted me to show this to the viewers.
Yes. So this is something we just want to make people aware of. It's something new that's come out. They're just now rolling it out. And there are some concerns about it. We do have some questions about it. It was only tested for 14 days before it came out into market, which really, how can you learn anything long-term in just 14 days? And only 38 animals were tested, and 35 of them were euthanized after the 14 days, which we had questions about. And, they remarked, well, it's so that we can look at their organs and see how their organs responded to it and everything. But still, that's a very large amount of test group to do that to. And so we just have a lot of questions on it. And there are some voices that are speaking out, some doctors and some veterinarians and some people who have masters in public health that are speaking out with some concerns. So we just wanted to share with you what's being advertised because it shares with you how it works. And when you look at this advertisement and you see how this particular thing works in our pets, and then we look at the Coriolis versicolor mushroom and what that does on a cellular level and how that works in our pets, it's almost identical, but without any of the side effects or any of the questions or the concerns that we have. So I just wanted for everybody to see this commercial so they can see how they're explaining how this works for our pets.
Okay, here we go right now. Just got that sound working. Okay, if there's any problems or you can't see it, please let me know. And if you can't hear the sound again, just please let me know. But can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Here we go.
Novavax Next vaccines work by delivering a set of instructions via the RNA sequence of a pathogen's specific gene of interest. The co-protein of the RNA particle efficiently targets the most important and effective first line of defense, the dendritic cells. These cells are responsible for processing antigens to create an enhanced, balanced immune response. Once the RNA particle enters the dendritic cell, the RNA is unpackaged and for a limited time makes multiple copies of itself, which subsequently result in the production of large amounts of protein, which act as antigens. The dendritic cells present the antigens to B cells and T cells, which activate a broad and balanced antibody, or humoral, and cellular immune response. Novavax Next vaccines work by delivering
So, yeah, I just want to say that, hang on, yeah, I'm just playing in the background, I had to pause that. So we're not making any claims, we're just sharing information here, and this is for us to question everything. At the end of the day, thank you very much for sharing that. So what did we just see there, Cristin?
So what we saw was an explanation of how this works on our pets, and that is exactly how the natural immune response works. The dendritic cells create the antigens, which then go and create more T cells, more B cells, which then go into the body and start, correcting and doing all of the things that the immune system does. I'll say, because I'll get really nerdy and technical. Yeah. We'll lose a lot of people. But what's interesting about this is because it was tested for such a short period, like I said, we just have questions. Nicholas Holcher, who has a master's in public health, has been really the one that's been voicing a lot of these questions, asking, if this shed self-amplifying mRNA and all of these synthetic antigens might be able to pass to human owners through our pet's breath or through their saliva or fluids. That's a concern. That wondering if this could cause long-term genetic damage, similar to what we've been finding with people, as we've been seeing the long-term results of this different testing that's been done, wondering if it can recombine with wild viruses that could possibly create even more dangerous new pathogens that we're not even aware about or aware of yet. So while we understand the intent of these things is good, right? They're intending to help animals, and they're intending to take a lot of the different things that we're giving them and do it all in one through this self-amplifying mRNA. But when we roll stuff out like this with such short testing and such limited testing, it really puts our pets and us as the pet parents into an uncontrolled genetic experiment that a lot of us aren't even aware of, without our consent. So that's really been the concern. So what we always encourage people to do is just do research. When we go to the vet and when they're offering these options, we need to ask about them, ask questions, do research. How long has this been tested? How effective has it been? What have they found? What are some of the side effects? What could possibly occur from the rollout of this? Do they know anything long term? These are all questions that we should constantly be asking. And then us being certified in pet nutrition and certified in mycology, we're looking at this going, okay, well, we see what they're doing, but we know that there's whole foods that do those same things. The Coriolus versicolor mushroom that we put into this supplement that we put into all of our pet treats and foods, and we have even stuff for people with the Coriolus versicolor mushroom. It does that same thing. It activates and it promotes the maturation and the function of the dendritic cells. And that's how the PSK and the PSP in the mushroom and the mycelial phase, that's exactly what it does. So we always encourage people, there are natural things that God has given us that work perfectly, that have, like Kirt said, been tested for thousands of years. We know the results. There's published results.
When they're natural, people have this idea that they work very slow. They're not as effective. Can you give some testimonials in how rapidly this natural stuff that you're selling, which the link is below in the description, so it's available and it's as accessible by everyone watching today. So please click the link if you want to, you want to understand what this is and you want to give it a go with your pets. But Kirt or Cristin, just explain, give me some testimonials now. How quick and effective is these natural substances? Yeah.
The powerful thing about the mushroom is we see that it works a lot quicker in animals than it does in humans, and it works very quick in humans. And the reason for that is they have a higher temperature than humans do. Is what the belief is as to why that happens. But good testimonial. My brother, he had a dog. His name was Batman. And Batman at the time was 9. Now, this was almost 8 years ago. And he couldn't jump in his chair. He couldn't run up the stairs anymore. So when they went to bed, they would carrying him upstairs. And we sent this out to him 10 days after taking it. He called us and said, I cannot believe what's happening to Batman. He's running up and down the stairs again. He's jumping in his favorite chair. And, for dogs that are healthy, that are elderly, it's imperative to get it into their system to help extend their lives. Their dogs are living half as long as they used to today. The average age of a golden retriever in the 70s was 17, and that average age is 9 today. And there's many various reasons for it. But if you can combat those things now with this mushroom, it's going to help or give a better probability of them to live a lot longer. And so another great testimonial we just received was a woman that had taken her dog to the vet for the past couple of years because he continued to lose all his hair. And it worsened and worsened, and they couldn't find anything that would help. She heard about this on a podcast, and she was reluctant to try it because she had tried everything and she'd spent a lot of money, but she did. And within 2 weeks, the hair started to grow back. And after just 2.5 months, that dog has all its hair back, and it's improved in so many ways. She just couldn't even believe it. And so, we're constantly getting things sent to the company from people giving us various testimonials, whether it's the smallest of concerns to even some of the most catastrophic things that this has been helpful with. And even with those catastrophic things, we're seeing some really great turnarounds very, very quickly, 30, 40, 50 days. just a lot of great things that people experience by, just getting that immune system running optimally again. Of course, as you've said and we've said it, this is not a cure, doesn't mitigate it, doesn't prevent. But, there's hundreds of studies on it and why this is such a great product, great thing to get in your system.
And the stories that are flooding in organically, they speak for themselves, and they're people's joy in the turnaround of their pets and stuff like that. So that's amazing. Cristin, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Yeah, and what you just said just touched my heart, because they're helpless. They don't have a voice. They're part of the innocent, and we are supposed to be good stewards. We're supposed to take care of them and do the best that we can. And so it's reassuring and it's encouraging to know that there are options like this that we can give our pets. There are good foods, there are good treats, there are better toys that we can give them, and know that we're not only keeping them alive, but we're giving them a good quality of life, and we're doing things the natural way, the way that God intended for us to do them. And so I just want to encourage people, regardless of what they're experiencing with their pets, that we have fun little cookies called Mush Puppies. We have a little gravy called the special sauce that you just mix with their food every day. These are fun treats that we can put into their systems that can give their body the natural support that it deserves. So we can not only keep them with us longer, but we can have a good quality of life with the extra time that we have.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you very much for sharing everything with us today. The link will be in the description so that it's available to everyone, and it'll be a fantastic Christmas present for your pets as well. So, but thank you, and we'll speak again very soon. You take care and God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you. God bless.